for our next chat, we're joined by Arkady Volozh. I do hope that I said that correctly. Arkady Volozh, founder and CEO of Nebius, with Elaine Moore, tech comments editor at the Financial Times. Please give them a warm round of applause as they make their way on stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Lovely to be with you for this fireside chat. Arkady has an absolutely fascinating, has had a fascinating month and a fascinating couple of years. Maybe let's start off with, you have described Nebius as a startup or like a startup, but most startups don't have 1,000 employees and the 2 billion of capital and the sort of exciting history you've had. For those who might not know the history of Nebius, can you give us a quick run through?
So we started with history. A bride with history. There was a company called Yandex, which I ran for 26 years. And then when the war started between Russia and Ukraine, half of top management and 1,000 of engineers left the country and actually started from scratch. And 2.5 years later, we totally separated corporate, we sold the Russian asset and started building a completely new company with several projects which were initially created to run on Western markets. And the main project was this creation of infrastructure for AI. Actually, a network of clusters with GPUs, with processors, on which all the models are trained and then run. And since we had some of the assets, one of the data centers was built outside, it came with us, and the team actually, which we have in their previous life, they built the infrastructure of Yandex, hundreds of megawatts of data centers. They have this experience. We just created a new stack of technologies, built it on our existing data center, expanded. Now we have more data centers. We have a data center in Paris. We're building several new ones. We are launching several new ones soon in US, and then we'll be building more and more. And now we are on this market. We provide tools to people who develop the models, train the models, run applications. We are a technology company for other technology companies. We are not B2B, we are T2T, tech to tech.
You built Yandex, which was called the Russian Google, and now you're building another company. It's been described as Yandex 2.0, but it's not, because you had this 5.4 billion sale, so you had the total division of Russian assets. Does it feel like you're building a startup again, or does it feel like something different?
It feels like a startup in the sense that we absolutely don't know what will be built in the end. We know where we're going, but how it will shape up in 6 months, in 6 years, we'll see. We're pretty sure about ourselves that we can deliver, we can do something, because we already did something before. But we don't have an existing business model yet. We need to build it. We didn't have a company. Now we're building it. But yes, it's not just a startup, it's a startup with a lot of memory and a lot of knowledge in it. And yes, we kind of sold our Russian asset, which in its best time was $30 billion NASDAQ traded company. We sold it for 5 something, 2.5 billion in cash. And we have this cash, which makes us pretty unusual startup in general and pretty unusual player on this specific market. And this specific market is the market of companies which provide specialized infrastructure for AI.
And so the Ukraine-Russia conflict led to the suspension of Yandex shares, and there was a period of time where there was no trading. Then you had the sale, and in the last, very recently, there's been the relisting of shares.
Yep.
I wonder if you can tell us what that's like. And also, did you consider staying as a private company? Why relist?
A little bit more than 2 weeks ago, we became, again, we stayed NASDAQ listed company, but NASDAQ have frozen all the trade because we had Russian assets and it was against their rules. As soon as we separated, we came back and said that we are ready. And then 2 weeks ago, they said, good, you're compliant, you go public next Monday, 9 o'clock.
No warning.
We had 1 working day to prepare the market for that. We created a nice press release. That's all we could do. And we started trading. And so far it goes well. The market forces work. We have, over these 2 weeks, we had a very big volume of trade, obviously, because the old shareholders who invested in a completely different company and a completely different market probably didn't have mandate to stay in B2B AI infrastructure provider. They exited. Some new shareholders bought their stakes. And now we're still public. We have, I don't know, 10,000 shareholders or more. The price was quite volatile in the beginning. Now it's stabilized a little bit, and we're a public company.
And is that, are you planning to raise, do you want to raise more capital because you're in this expansion mode? Is that, it's a capital intensive?
Why it is important to be, actually, and we are lucky to be public, because our sector, AI infrastructure, it stands on 2 pillars. One is technological stack, and another is capital. It's a very capital-intense business. You need to build data centers, you need to buy a lot of GPUs, and then gradually amortize them. We're pretty sure about our technological skills, and among our peers, independent cloud providers, AI infrastructure providers, so-called neo-clouds, we are, as of today, we're the only public company. First of all, we are the only ones to sit on $2 billion. Mm-hmm. We have our own cash, which is free capital for us, and it's very useful. We can use it and build really big infrastructure using the first $2 billion we have. And then being public gives you cheaper access to many capital instruments. We can sell your stock, you can raise bonds or convertibles. We have better access to cheaper capital. So good technological stack allows us to be efficient and to have low prices or high margins of our product, and cheap access to capital gives us very important advantage.
And AI infrastructure is an area that has been dominated by some big US companies. I think you're the only European-based AI infrastructure full stack company. Are you thinking of that your clients are here? Are you targeting Europe in particular?
We're not the only ones, but we're probably one of the largest in Europe. Yes, indeed. Well, still, we enjoy being in Europe because we have some data centers here, because we were lucky to get access on early stage to some greenfields, which we will be building, and Europe still had it this year, unlike in the US. US was taken because Europe was slower, which was very lucky. We were lucky to be here. But our business, majority of our clients is in US because our primary clients, majority of our clients are so-called AI native startups. And I don't know, 80 or 90% of them are somewhere in the valley. And these are our main clients. Of course, we have European clients as well, companies like Mistral and others. But if you follow the market is today is there. It will change, definitely. AI will proliferate. Now we are talking about this AI native startups, people who create models and create applications on AI. But then it will be more and more corporate market. And then, of course, Europe has a huge corporate market. But as of today, our customer base is there in the US.
What's your view of the European tech startup sector? Is there more that could be done? Is it being held back by too much regulation?
Well, Europe has its high-tech sector, has its AI sector. Although I would say that most of the even European startups, they don't position themselves as a European.
Right.
It's not a European AI, it's AI. The customers are everywhere, and we don't see so far any demands that we want to use you because you are in Europe. Right. Sometimes for some tasks like inferences, running the models, you need to be close to your customer because of latency and other things. Yes, it's good to be in Europe for European clients of your models. But majority of the loads today is training the models, and training doesn't require any latency. You can train models on the moon.
If we think, though, specifically about Europe, you're thinking about building out data centers in Europe. And I think you talked about expanding in Finland. Are there other countries that you think you're going to target are the best places to look?
It's very important for us to expand closer to our clients. That's why we're launching in US very soon. So far, we had one data center of our own in Finland, which we are now tripling very fast, and it will be triple capacity by next summer. We started building our own data centers from greenfields, from the scratch, but it takes time. It takes 18-24 months to build something, and meanwhile, we are renting smaller colocation spaces. When we build hundreds of megawatts. It should be gigawatts next year. When we rent tens of megawatts because it's temporary solution for us. But that's how we rented Paris. We're renting something in the US. There will be more European colocation centers launched in Q1. So we are
UK?
In UK specifically, not as I remember. The greenfields, it's US and European Nordic countries.
Yeah. I wonder if you can talk to us about, you're in this expansion mode, and that means you need access to AI chips, which means NVIDIA. Yeah. Are they very difficult to get hold of right now? Are we still in this period where you're up against a lot of competition? I know you had a good relationship with NVIDIA from your Yandex days.
Well, we have a very long-standing relationship with NVIDIA. In our previous company, the same team we were actually the largest customer of NVIDIA outside of US and China.
All right.
Yeah, and of course, we have long-standing 10, 15 years relationship with NVIDIA, with Mellanox, which became part of NVIDIA. On engineering level, people know each other for years, decades now, and work together closely. So yes, we do have relationship with NVIDIA. Speaking of supply-demand, everybody knows that the previous generation of NVIDIA chips, so-called H100s, 200s, were in huge deficit earlier this year. Now it's less of an issue, and we hope that the market will flip to demand-driven from supply-driven. But now the new generation is coming. Next year it's Blackwells, and looks like for the next year for sure, and maybe longer, it will be again supply-driven market. There's not enough supply of GPUs because the models which are trained require more and more GPUs, but not just more, magnitude of order more of GPUs. We were training models on thousands of GPUs, then on tens of thousands of GPUs. This year it's hundreds of thousands of GPUs. Next year it's millions of GPUs, gigawatt clusters. And physical world cannot grow so fast. there are limitations. You can't build a gigawatt in less than a year or two. And you also cannot physically produce this amount of GPUs instantly. That's why it's still a supply-driven market. Everybody is fighting to get supply, and whatever you get sold. So far, we experience this. Whatever we deploy got sold, even before we deployed it. Will it continue? Again, for the next generation of GPUs, looks like it will continue. We'll see how it develops later.
We have a bit of time for questions if anybody in the audience has any questions for Arkady. But I also want to talk to you about the other parts of the business. If there is anybody, let me know, put your hand up. But I also wanted to talk about, so Nebius was created from the non-Russian assets of Yandex. So it's not just cloud infrastructure. There's also these other components. How much time do you get to think about the self-driving unit?
So this AI infrastructure piece is the largest in terms of people, half of our people there, and all the capital actually goes now there. We also have 3 other smaller business units. The most interesting of them probably is our self-driving division. That was one of the 5 best companies in the world when they split. There was just a couple of companies in America, a couple of companies in China, and this team who was able to put cars without safety drivers on public roads. This team is now located, they reside in Austin, Texas, because that's the place where regulation allows them to put cars and delivery rovers on the streets. They signed up with Uber a couple of weeks ago, and they're actually developing this business very fast, but it's another capital-intensive business. The next stage for this business is to build fleet and really turn from a technology and product into business, and it requires also billions of dollars. If we were in our previous capacity, we would have it. Now we don't. We have some billions, but we know what to do with how to deploy them in this AI infrastructure. We don't have too many billions to spend there. So that's why we will be looking for partners to develop that part. And another business unit called Taloka, which operates where the experts train big models, evaluate big models. Company like Scale.ai, Surge.ai. It's also a very fast-growing business. We also will be looking for partners to develop that business as well.
And just to go back to the self-driving cars, so there's a lot of competition in the US right now and a lot of money being spent. You're working with Uber. Have you had to slow down the R&D, or does the partnership mean that you can keep the same pace going?
No, so far, again, they had to spend this 2 years for relocating and actually rewriting all the stack. The terms of the separation are such that we don't have any IP rights. We need to recreate everything. Like we recreated the cloud, the AI infrastructure was rewritten, so we have the most fresh and fashionable piece of code there. No. But the guys did a tremendous effort, and the whole stack. They have actually 2 product lines, taxis and delivery rovers. The only company who have these 2 product lines together, and they have to recreate the whole stack, which they did now. They put cars on the streets again. Rovers are delivering food with Uber Eats soon. So that time was spent on recreating the product, and now is the business part.
And then finally, I wanted to ask you about something that you've said in the past. You were talking about the idea of AI infrastructure, and you said that we would need to rebuild the internet to work for the AI age. What does that look like in practice?
Well, all the data centers which were built so far, on which internet infrastructure actually lives, they were built with the different technical parameters and actually different ideas in mind. It was traditional clouds. The main focus is distributed computing, redundancy, being close, coverage. In AI, it's a different kind of workloads. It's very dense data centers. You need to build, it's high-performance computer, HPC computing data centers, which require much more dense computers and racks, much more energy in one place, different design of the data centers. And since we need to replace many processes which we are using today with AI-assisted or AI-driven, we need to recreate the infrastructure which supports it. Everything which we will be doing in 3-5 years from now will be AI-powered somehow, and it should be run.
Everything we do will be AI-powered in 3 to 5 years.
Just the same as, I don't know, 30 years ago, computers came, and now everything is computers, including this microphone maybe. Then internet came, and everything is internet. We're all connected. The same will be with AI. It's a general-purpose technology which will be everywhere.
There you go. That's a prediction for all of you. Thank you so much all for listening, and thank you so much, Arkady, for being with us here today. And I'll hand back to Nikki. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you so much.